As a leadership coach for the last 20 years, I've worked in more than 40 countries with hundreds of leaders. One of the joys of my job is I actually learn more from them than they learn from me. I learn from each leader what makes them unique, and I also learn where there's that consistency, where there are common issues. What we know now about leadership is that there's a certain set of competencies that all leaders must have, and a certain set of values which is going to differ from leader to leader. It's the combination of those competencies together with those values, the why that they're leading, that makes things work. I do see an issue, though, and in a lot of times I'm working with individuals in the HR organization or in organizational development that are responsible for bringing coaches into an organization. And more it's become frustrating for them because coaching has very much become an individual one-on-one experience. Therefore, you need to build a connection with your coach. Once you build a connection and trust with your coach, you're going to go back to that coach consistently because it's as much an advisor and a friend and a confidant as anything else. As someone that's actually deploying coaches within an organization, that can be frustrating because you end up with a very fragmented model. Coaching, because it's so individual in nature, is someone who in one part of the organization is getting a very different experience than someone in another part of the organization. That inconsistency actually creates problems because we start to view leadership in different ways. We're deploying different leadership models to solve common problems. If someone moves from one part of the organization to another part of the organization, there is this lack of a common language now. We're not talking about leadership even in the same way. It's like professional athletes that are using coaches to refine their skills and increase their competencies. And then they get on the field and they're not using the same playbook. Well, nobody knows what to do. We're using a different set of playbooks. I might be the best midfielder on the field and I have the greatest competencies and skills, but if I don't know what my forwards and my defensemen are doing, and I certainly don't know what they're going to do next, and I can't have that communication, it's going to be a highly ineffective model to work with. Same is true with executive coaching. I can have the best coach in the world and refine my skills and competencies extremely well. But as a leader, there's a couple of things going on. First of all, is I have to collaborate with others. I have to be able to share that common model. Second is my coach isn't with me every step along the way. I need others to help me be accountable to the things that I'm learning, the journey that I'm taking, the behaviors that I'm changing. And the people that are going to hold me accountable are the peers on my team. If we're not using the same model, we're not understanding the same coaching competencies and leadership competencies, well, it's going to be hard for them to hold me accountable. And third is I need to collaborate. I need to collaborate with the peers on my team. I need to be able to collaborate with those in different parts of the organization. And if I'm using a different set of behaviors or a different set of guidelines or measures for what's going to create effective collaboration, it's going to be highly ineffective. The high-impact coaching cohort model uses a playbook. And it uses a playbook to augment and accelerate the executive coaching. We're all working off the same plays. We all know what the end game is. We all know what competitive advantage looks like. Now we can hone our individual skills at the same time that we're honing our team skills and developing those competencies. We're able to hold each other accountable because we know what good looks like. It's defined in the playbook. We know when someone falls down and doesn't hold up their end because it's defined in the playbook. And so the high-impact coaching cohort model allows us to work together as peers through a coaching journey to accelerate our leadership skills by focusing on our individual needs at the same time that we understand the needs of the organization.